Welcome. In this video, we're going to be talking about the self-regulation technique, color breathing. So breathing is a really important technique when you're wanting to regulate yourself, and here's why. It is a way to trick the brain into calming itself back down. Because when we are dysregulated, our heart rate increases, and then our breathing increases, our inhale rate increases. And so when we want to regulate, we need to bring our heart rate back down. And the best way to do that is by slowing our breathing down. When we slow our breathing down, it tricks the brain into slowing our heart rate down. And when we slow our heart rate down, it slows our entire automatic nervous system down, which is what we're wanting to do. And so you may be like me in that I used to think that when people would say, just do your deep breathing, I would go, that's the dumbest thing in the world. How is that ever going to work? But I have found that often the most simple answers and the most simple techniques are the most effective in conquering really complicated problems, especially in the realm of counseling. And so today we're going to go over one of my favorites, which is color breathing. Now, I do color breathing with every age, but I'm going to show you today how to do it with littles or older ones. And it has everything to do with visualization as well as breathing. So I'm someone that counting doesn't work for me in my breath, box breathing doesn't work for me because I get really kind of caught up in the numbers and all of that. And I'm somebody that tangibly has to have something that I put my mind on. And so how color breathing works is you're going to start with a color that represents how you're feeling when you're dysregulated, whether that is angry or frustrated or anxious or fearful, right? And everybody has a different color, so we're not here to argue colors. I would say when I'm angry, it's more of a bright, vibrant red, maybe like a burnt orange red. And then when I'm anxious, it's probably more of like an orange. Everybody's colors are different. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with understanding that dysregulated color. So let's do anger today, just because that's a common one. You can do anxious if you like to. Anger is a common one, I think, for lots of people. And sometimes anger and anxious get blended in together. And that's probably where that burnt orange for me color comes in. So how we start is you have the dysregulated color. You're imagining that in your lungs, like it's particles, mist, it's colorful mist, right? So let's say I've red mist floating around in my lungs. So I'm dysregulated, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, right? Or I'm dysregulated, I'm anxious, right? And I have that color moving around in my lungs. And what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to move that color out by breathing in a regulated color. So I want you to think of when you're at your most regulated, right? You're most calm, you're at peace, you're just hanging out, you're just chilling out. What color is that? So for me, that's a really earthy green. So I have earthy green as my regulated, calm color. And so what we are going to do is we're going to see that regulated color in mist out here, right? So I'm seeing that green earthy mist out here, and I'm wanting to move that into my lungs to replace it, to move the dysregulated color out. So when I'm working with little ones, I'll usually have them hold a little bowl of their regulated color. And so what they're going to do is they're going to breathe that in, and they're going to picture that mist dropping into their lungs as they hold their breath and pushing the dysregulated color out. And then we're going to watch that dysregulated color float away from them. Right? So I'm breathing in that green through my nose, swapping it out. And I'm breathing out. I'm breathing that dysregulated red away from me. So green's going in. Just a swap. Red's going out and away. Now, us older adults, we can't always just sit everywhere we're going with the bowl, right? And so if you just want to imagine it floating in front of you and you just breathe it in exhale that dysregulated color out. And we want to, the goal is to elongate that exhale breath longer and longer each time, right? So we want to really slow that down each time we do it. So that's color breathing. And you may be asking me, and if you've been around me a while or you've been around these videos for a while, you'll know the answer, but you may be asking me, Jessica, how long, how often? And this is the answer: until you're more regulated, right? So if it takes you 3 times and you feel regulated, great. If after 3 times you're still dysregulated, you just keep color breathing. Often too, we're doing this kind of breathing in situations where there's intensity happening, right? So I think of meetings or traffic or an argument, right? And so color breathing during that is to help you regulate and manage the intensity, but you may not feel the release and the calmness until after the situation has passed. So really good example of this is I often use my color breathing in traffic. And so I'm just doing it the whole time I'm in traffic. And I often don't feel regulated again until I am out of traffic. And then I go, oh, the intensity has passed. And so that's okay, because color breathing is regulating is supposed to work in regulating, right? So helping you get to that calm place, but also in managing the intensity when you're in the middle of it, so that when you get to the end of it, it's easier to get back to that calm place at the end versus I'm all intense, I'm all worked up, I'm all dysregulated. We get out of the situation and now I'm spending 20 minutes to bring my body down, right? Versus I'm managing, I can bring my body down. And so color breathing is a simple but fun way to help you regulate your automatic nervous system using breath. And it's a fan favorite. It's a client favorite. I have clients of all ages that love it and that utilize it. And I utilize it in my everyday life. So get to color breathing, and hopefully you're working your way to a more regulated life. So thanks, everyone.